disappeared a little bit, but the bad picks are back. Although this is a review video, we have no picks made for this video, but we're going to take a look at the entire, what is this, week 15? We got week 15 here. 16? 16, yes. Starting with the Thursday game, Saints versus the Rams. This one, don't let the score fool you. Although it got close at the end, but I mean, once they were up 27 to whatever it was, 7, I lost a little bit of interest. All right, but yeah, the Saints made a little comeback, but Rams held them off, and the Rams, they are at 8-7. And speaking of 8-7, you know what? We're gonna take a look at the standings. Let's take a look at the standings quick. Might as well. We're that close to the playoffs. It's getting pretty important. And like I said, big win for the Rams. They're 8-7. That puts them at number 6. So looking at the NFC, we have the Niners, Eagles, and Lions at the top. They're all 11-4. I guess tiebreaker is usually head-to-head, win percentage in conference, and like strength of schedule or something. I don't know, but yeah, those are the top 3. Then you have the Buccaneers at 8-7. They're top of their division. The Falcons have really faded down the stretch. Then it's the Cowboys 10-5. They're at 5th. Tough loss for them against the Dolphins. Like I said, Rams at number 6, 8-7. Seahawks 8-7. And then you look, those are the top 7. You look outside of the top 7 at who's looking at the playoffs from the outside. The Vikings are 7-8. Falcons 7-8. Packers 7-8. Saints, even the Bears at 6-9. Not eliminated from the playoffs just yet. But it's hard to see. I feel like that's the 7. You know, obviously one of the Seahawks or the Rams, they could lose. Maybe the Buccaneers could lose out. I don't know, lose their playoff spot to the Falcons. I don't know, but I feel like those are the 7. I feel like 2 weeks from now we're gonna see those same 7 teams, and they all have a comfortable lead. Like I said, bunch of 8 and 7s, and then next up it's the 7 and 8 teams. So I guess what is that? That's only a half game back. I guess that's not that far, but like I said, I feel like those 7 teams are all in a good spot. Should be able to hopefully stay in. But then we look at the AFC. We got Ravens. They've clinched. Dolphins have clinched. So 12-3 Ravens, great win against the Niners. Dolphins 11-4, big win against Dallas. Chiefs 9-6, Jaguars 8-7. Again, then you got number 5 Browns 10-5 at 6. The Bills 9-6, and the Colts at 8-7. And that's the playoff picture right now. On the outside looking in, you have the Texans 8-7, Steelers 8-7, and Bengals 8-7 as well. Then even further down, you got the Raiders and Broncos still looking at the playoffs and thinking, hey, maybe we got a shot. They're both 7-8. But yeah, that's the playoff picture currently. Yeah, Rams. Hey, Saints won that. They're 8-7. Rams would be 7-8. They would be flip-flop right now. So massive game on Thursday night. Rams got the job done. Hey, they got guys that have been there before. You know, maybe it's not quite the same team. There's a lot of turnovers in the NFL, so it's not quite the same as the Super Bowl squad they had. But, you know, they turned it around. And Stafford, big game, 328, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua, give him Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Puka, give it to him. Actually, no, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Who else is playing well? But he's definitely in the conversation. I mean, even Kyron Williams, if he didn't get injured, he would probably be in the conversation. 22 carries, 104 yards and a touchdown. Good game from him. Rashid Shaheed had a touchdown. Juwan Johnson, A.T. Perry, all got in the end zone for the Saints. Kari had 3 TDs, 319 yards, 1 pick. So not terrible from him, but how much of that was just garbage time trying to come back from down 27-7. But hey, great win for the Rams. I mean, this was supposed to be, I mean, they didn't have a good year last year, and now Stafford was injured, Cooper Kupp was was injured. But this is supposed to be another kind of rebuilding year, and they're right there in the playoffs, looking like they can get in, and they look solid. They look pretty good, so we'll see if they can continue that. Not sure they'll be able to knock anybody off, but just making the playoffs is pretty big. So, speaking of making the playoffs, you got the Bengals and the Steelers. They're trying to get in. They're in those 8 and 9 spots. Once again, another huge matchup. You got 7 and 7 Bengals versus, 8 and 6 Bengals versus the 7 and 7 Steelers. Steelers have been in a free fall, but big win, 34-11 over the Bengals. Like I said, both teams at 8 and 7. The Bengals, they're in a tough spot because they got a lot of talent. Defense is okay, but Jake Browning, 3 picks. That's tough. Maybe they weren't all his fault. I don't even remember, but 335 yards, touchdown, but just couldn't get in the end zone. Couldn't score in the first half. That's tough. It's tough to play like this, but it is what it is. But you don't have Burrow. It's tough. But T. Higgins had a massive touchdown. George Pickens had 2 massive touchdowns. I mean, what? I've been playing that guy the last 5 weeks in my one league. I finally take him out, and then he does that. I mean, that's kind of been my year for fantasy football. Same with making these picks, man. It's tough to make these picks. Making picks is not good for my mental, alright? Because I am wrong a lot. Anything can happen week to week in any of these games, so it's just, I feel like a talking head yelling at a cloud when I make these picks half the time, but it is what it is. I probably would have picked the Bengals in this one. I think I would have went Rams versus the Saints, but I think against the Steelers I would have went Bengals, and I would have been completely wrong. To our next game, we got Chargers versus the Bills. Probably would have went with the Bills in this one. I don't know how they won. They barely snuck this one out of there. I thought the Chargers were gonna win. I really did during the game. But Easton Stick, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's a Madden player name right there. Josh Allen too, but Josh Allen, not one of his best days, but he ran the ball in the end zone twice, but short carries, but not bad. But Leonard Fournette getting carries out here. I thought he was washed, but he had a good career. If he can give them a couple carries here and there, I guess it's not bad, but he didn't do much. But yeah, Allen 237, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 2 rushing touchdowns. Easton Stick, hey, no turnovers from Easton Stick. He even ran one in. Yeah, that's impressive. But yeah, tough loss for the Chargers. Well, not a tough loss. They are. I don't know what's going on there. They're in trouble. They are in trouble. 5 and 10. Focus on the draft, Chargers fans. Focus on the draft. Get that man Herbie some help. But good win for the Bills. Hey, 9 and 6. They needed that. That was a must win. They were able to pull it out. Every game is so important for them at this point. In trying to get in, because the AFC race is pretty tight. So 9 and 6. That's very helpful. That's very helpful for the Bills. But we go into Sunday. Yes. The first 1 o'clock game. We're going to take a look at Falcons, Colts. Alright, 29-10. Falcons destroyed them, which is funny because probably would have picked the Colts in this one. That would have been a huge mistake. Gardner Minshew did not cook. He had 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jonathan Taylor was the lone touchdown. But, yeah, nothing crazy from the Falcons either. Heineke did his thing, managed the game real well. Bijan averaged 6 yards a carry. Algier, 7.7 yards a carry, ran one in as well. And then Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown, so it's pretty good. That's all it takes. But lots of kicking, powerful kicking. Younghoe Koo, very good game from him. Very solid game. 5 field goals. That's the way to do it. But yeah, nice win for the Falcons. They're at 7 and 8. They've been struggling. They've had a couple bad losses the last few weeks. This is huge because they lose this, they're pretty much done. Tough loss for the Colts. 9-6, they'd be looking a lot better than 8-7. Now they're stuck with all those other 8-7 teams on the outside looking in, although they are number 7, so they are in the playoffs. But I don't know. I don't think they're very strong. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. It'd be nice to see I don't know, maybe even the Steelers. I don't know. I don't even care who gets in from the AFC side. I think that 7th spot is going to be pretty worthless in the grand scheme of things. But hey, nice win for the Falcons. They're still looking at the playoffs thinking we have a shot, especially since they just have to beat out the Buccaneers and they could try to win the division. But we will see. Seahawks, Titans. Seahawks got the dub. They're 8-7 now. Titans fall to 5-10. That's okay. Probably would have picked the Seahawks in this one, even though they have been struggling. But yeah, Geno Smith. Hey, a couple games at Drew Lock. Geno Smith was struggling a little bit, but he got injured. Now he's back and played pretty well. 227 yards, 2 touchdowns. Titans aren't anything tough, and I mean, funny thing is they had a shot to win this. They were in it. They were in it in the 4th. It took 2 touchdowns in the 4th for Seattle to get this dub, but hey, they did it. They did it. Lockett, 81 yards. Metcalf and Kobe Parkinson got in the end zone. Okongwu got in the end zone for the Titans. Yeah, and Tannehill played in this one. No Will Levis in this one. It was Tannehill. All Tannehill. Derrick Henry got in the end zone as well. Even threw a touchdown, which was pretty cool. But, yeah, tough one for the Titans. But not really. This is good for your draft pick at this point. It's tough because you want Levis getting the reps now. But I guess, I don't know. It's what it is. They're just stalling at this point. But big win for Seattle. You know, they're trying to get in that playoff. They are currently that 7th team, and they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot for sure. So, up next, Lions, Vikings. I mean, this one, expected this to be, maybe a decent game. Nick Mullins, 411 yards, 4 picks, 2 touchdowns. But Jared Goff, 257, 1 touchdown. So solid day from him. Chandler ran one in for the Vikings. Justin Jefferson, Osborne caught 1 each. St. Brown caught 1. Jahmyr Gibbs runs 2 in. Montgomery ran 1 in. 30-24. Nice win for the Lions. They go to 11-4. Vikings are at 7-8. Tough spot to be in. They still have a shot. They still have a shot to get in, but it's just it's getting tough out here. It's getting tough out here for the Vikings. But Nick Mullins, I love it. It's just, it's funny. 411 yards, 4 picks. That's good stuff. But yeah, Vikings. Gotta be tough being a Vikings fan this year. Looking at maybe making the playoffs without your stud QB. You don't even know if that QB's going to be back the next year. Just, they're in a weird spot for sure. But, hey, it's got to feel good to at least be in the conversation, It's worse than being at the bottom and nobody talks about you unless they're talking about draft picks. But, it is what it is. Speaking of draft picks, the Commanders did their job against the Jets. Jets, they got the lead. They got a big lead. Commanders storm back, get a late lead, but then Trevor Siemian just marches the boys up the field, set them up for field goal range, and boom, they kick it. It's good. They have 27 first half points, and then 3 in the second half for the Jets, and those 3 came at the very end. But hey, they got the job done. Breece Hall, 2 touchdowns. Siemian threw for 1 and threw 1 pick. Jason Brownlee caught it. Don't even know who that is. On the other side, Logan Thomas caught 1. Chris Rodriguez ran 1 in. Don't even know who that is. But Brian Robinson Jr. was out, so somebody had split carries with Gibson. And Gibson ran 1 in as well. Sam Howell, 2 picks. And they benched him. 1 TD for Brissett. Actually, Sam feel like they should just toss him in there for the last 2 games just to get. It's just 2 more games of tape, 2 more games of practice at this point. You know, they put Brissett in. It takes away from that. I know Howell has been bad, but who knows? Maybe they're ready. Maybe they're ready to move on. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're looking QB. Maybe Jaden Daniels, Drake May. They're hoping one of those guys fall 4-11. They got a high pick, so it'd be interesting if they get Drake May, who, you know, he was younger than Sam Howell, but sat behind Sam Howell at UNC. That would be hilarious. But yeah, great win for the Jets. Although not really. They need a draft pick. They are eliminated from the playoffs, so technically not a great win. Alright, I take that back, Jets fans. I apologize. Bad win. Bad. Very bad. But up next, Panthers. Packers. Great win. A thriller with the Panthers. Really. 33 to 30. Panthers 2-13. Their pick going to the Bears still, but good win for the Packers. Gets them to 7-8. The funny thing is, if I would have made picks for this week, I would have probably picked the Packers. And Packers fans, you were lucky. I did not do picks because if I picked the Packers to win, they probably would have lost. That's the type of season it's been. But yeah, good for them. Did the simulation beginning of the year. Had Packers predicted for 4 wins. They're at 7, so they keep giving me the finger week after week. But that's okay. It's all just for fun. But Jordan Love, 2 TDs, even ran one in. A.J. Dillon ran one in. Aaron Jones, good game from him. 127 yards rushing. Romeo Doubs caught one. And Dontavian Wicks. I don't even know that guy. Oh, wait, Wicks. I know that last name, but I didn't realize that was his first name. He caught one. DJ Chark, 2 touchdowns, 98 yards for him. Adam Thielen, 94 yards. Chuba Hubbard ran one in. Emir Smith-Marset ran one in, so. But yeah, Bryce Young, not bad. Not a terrible game. 312 yards, 2 touchdowns. No picks. That's a great game. Great game from him. Couldn't ask for much more from him in his rookie year with the roster he has. So, good stuff. Good win for the Packers, keeping them alive in the playoffs, but we'll see if it's going to be enough. 7-8, tough spot to be in. We got the Browns versus the Texans. Man, I don't know who I would have picked in this one. The Browns, they have been sharp this year. I think I would have went Browns. The defense is just so good. Also, oh yeah, Stroud didn't even play. Yeah, I would have picked the Browns. It's Davis Mills, Case Keenum, both of them played. Davis had 2 touchdowns. He got injured, right? I don't even remember. I forget. I assume Davis Mills played first, but yeah, Keenum, he had 2 picks. That's tough. But yeah, Flacco, 3 TDs, 368 yards, 2 picks, not bad. Jerome Ford had a touchdown. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown. Amari Cooper, massive game. Set the Browns' receiving record. 11 catches, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. David Njoku got in the end zone. Nico Collins got in the end zone. But you know, Browns dominated most of the game. It really wasn't too close. Solid win for the Browns. They're scary. If only they had a good quarterback. But Flacco, he's getting the job done. He's not good, but he's okay. He was, last year he looked completely washed with the Jets. So this is just nice mini resurgence for him. But speaking of resurgence, Baker Mayfield, he's been killing it. Wonderful game from him. 283 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, not a good game from him. He also might be injured. He sprained something. So I don't even know if he'll play in the next one, but 2 touchdowns for Mike Evans, 2 touchdowns for Calvin Ridley. Nice little battle of receivers there, but Rashad White also ran one in. But hey, Buccaneers dominated 30-12. Domination. They're now 8-7. Jaguars are also at 8-7. Jaguars Jaguars got to watch out. Texans are right behind them. They're lucky they lost this week, so that they're both on the same path. The Jaguars have the tiebreaker. But yeah, tough spot. Jags are falling apart a little bit. Buccaneers are doing their thing. Baker Mayfield, baby. I mean, it also helps when you got Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a legend. Don't matter who plays QB. Mike Evans doesn't care. He does not care. He'll win with anybody. The Cardinals, they will not win with anybody, other than their 3 wins, but 3-12 now. They lost to the now 6-9 Bears, 27-16. Kyler Murray, 230 yards, 2 TDs. It's pretty good. James Conner didn't do much. Well, actually, in the running game, passing game, he was fine. He caught one. Greg Dortch caught one as well. Cole Kmet, 100-yard game. Khalil Herbert, 100-yard game, and a rushing touchdown. Justin Fields, 9 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown. 170 yards passing. 1 throwing touchdown, 1 pick. So, pretty solid game from him. They just need, they got 2 more weeks to evaluate him, because depending on that Panthers pick, they might be taking Caleb Williams. We'll see. I think they'll end up taking him. Might as well change it up. Maybe trade Justin Fields for a 4th round pick or something. I don't know. But, maybe let him start next year, and then Caleb Williams will sit on the bench. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they got 2 first-round picks. One of them's gonna be very high, possibly number 1, as long as the Panthers don't do anything crazy these next 2 weeks. But yeah, that's what it is right now. We got Cowboys Dolphins. This one was pretty good. This one was a good game. The other 2 4:00 games I didn't really pay attention to. This one was pretty solid. Didn't think the Cowboys played that well. Dolphins played okay. I didn't think either team played their best. But hey, Tua got the job done. 293 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that was the one was to Mostert. But lots of field goals. Jason Sanders got the job done today. He got the job done. But good for him, really. That's good stuff. But yeah, it's a big win. 22-20 for the Dolphins. They're now 11-4. Cowboys are 10-5. Cowboys are that 5th seed. The Dolphins they're in that top 3. So nice spot for the Dolphins. But Cowboys, they're in the playoffs, but they got to be a little disappointed because they were chasing the Eagles, trying to get that division title, and they might end up falling a little short here. But it is what it is. CeeDee Lamb, big game. Prescott was okay, 253, 2 touchdowns, but wasn't enough. We go into the Sunday night game. Pats Broncos. Ever since they were 2-9, I've pretty much been hoping for losses, because it's like, okay, I'm not hoping for losses. Like, I don't know. It's nice to win, but some of these just feel, it's so, like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like a number 1 pick would be so cool, but it's like one of those things where, like you want a top pick, but the type of season you have to have a top pick, it's gotta be ugly. You gotta have, like, one of the ugliest seasons. You gotta have, like, 3 wins. It's pretty bad. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, the idea of the pick is, like, it's cool, but when you think about what your team has to go through the year before to get there, it's brutal. And Zappy, like, these guys, like, Zappy's out there playing because he wants a job next year. Like, that's the thing. Like, nobody tanks. There is no tanking. Nobody actually. The only tanking is maybe, like, trying out younger guys, or, like, just backups, or, like, different personnel just to see what you have for, like, the following year. That's probably the only tanking there is. But, like, overall, like, coaches, these guys are coaching for their jobs. Players are playing for their jobs. There really isn't tanking, even when teams are eliminated from the playoffs. So it's one of the great things about the NFL, and most sports, with the NFL, it's just, you gotta have a really bad team to get a top pick. That's for sure. And the Patriots, it feels like they have that, but at the same time, they didn't look too bad. Then you got the Broncos, they're benching Russell Wilson for the rest of the year to avoid him getting injured or something. I don't even know what it is. But Jared Stidham's going to be playing the rest of the year, so Broncos 7-8, they still have a shot at the playoffs, but they are certainly in a weird spot. That's for sure. Chiefs Raiders. This game was terrible. I saw a lot of bad. I didn't see all of it, but the Raiders, they couldn't move the ball. Mahomes had one of his worst games ever. Hey, Zamir White, under 45 yards rushing. That's pretty good, though. But yeah, horrible game from the Chiefs. Not a great game from the Raiders either, but they were able to pull it out. Their defense, another week of 2 defensive touchdowns. I mean, that's just crazy. That's crazy. But the offense is terrible. The offense is so bad. They're bad. They're not good. But yeah, Chiefs, Raiders got the dub, 20-14. Raiders are 7-8 now. Chiefs are 9-6. Not one of Mahomes' better records. That's for sure. But they got some issues. But I think for the playoffs they might be okay. Just man, yeah, tough loss. Tough loss for the Chiefs. Raiders. I think the Raiders are getting some false hope from some of these wins, but it is what it is. It doesn't really matter. But they're just happy that McDaniels is gone at this point. But yeah, we head into that was the first Monday game. Second Monday game. This one was pretty good just because it was divisional matchup, I guess. It was pretty close for most of it. The Giants were hanging around a little bit. Tommy DeVito sucks. He got benched. Tyrod Taylor goes in. Kind of keeps him in it. Barkley had a touchdown. Darius Slayton, he had a touchdown. He had a great touchdown. But yeah, Devontae Smith caught one. DeAndre Swift ran one in. Jalen Hurts ran one in. 15 rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. That is a record for QBs. That tush push, man. You can't stop it. Can't stop it. You got a couple of very strong dudes that are good at pushing people over just to get 1 or 2 yards. It's impressive, but I hope they don't ban it. It's just, I hope they don't. I would hate that, but yeah. But yeah, 300 yards for Hurts, 1 TD, 1 pick, 1 rushing touchdown. So solid day from him. 33-25. Like I said, pretty good game. Always excited for divisional ones. But you're always worried the weaker team like the Giants will just get blown out. But they're 5-10 now. Eagles are 11-4. And we head into the final game of Monday, the most hyped one, and the hype fell short. Not the Lamar Jackson hype. The Lamar Jackson hype is pretty much back up to MVP levels. There's no clear-cut guy, and you knew the MVP race was wide open when Brock Purdy was getting hyped. Don't get me wrong, Brock Purdy's been having a great year. There are just certain problems with him, and we saw that on full display the other night. Yeah, he was not good. He was not good. Maybe not all the picks were his fault, maybe, but 4 picks, that's tough. That's tough. That's tough. You just can't win like that. And then even Darnold threw a pick. That's tough. But McCaffrey got over 100 yards and a touchdown. Kittle, Ayuk both got over 100 yards. Lamar, 252, 2 touchdowns. And then 45 yards rushing. He's been great. Zay Flowers had a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar had a touchdown. 33-19. And it was, 2-touchdown game. And I'd say the game wasn't even as close as that. It was not even, the score does not represent this game. Felt like a blowout. Felt like complete domination by the Ravens from start to finish. Which is a shame because I thought this would be a good Super Bowl matchup. But Ravens just showed that they are big time the superior squad in that